is going on, everybody? I go by the name of Curry, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. The good people at Greenhouse have sent me over a really dope sneaker that I wasn't even fully aware of, but now that I've gotten a chance to take a look at the shoe and take a look at the two brands that come up with the shoe, obviously one being Reebok, it makes me that much more excited to try the shoe on and to show the sneaker to you guys. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Boom. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Reebok Zig Kinetica by Greenhouse and ALife. I'm excited about this one. The more I studied it, the more I learned about it, the more I read about not just the sneaker, this is my first pair of Zig Kineticas, but also about ALife as well. I wasn't that hip on the company. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had to do some research, but the more that I learned, the more excited I was. And honestly, the more this collaboration made so much sense to me. First things first, aesthetically, I actually like the look of the sneaker here. I like the Zig Kinetica. Again, this is my first time really looking at the silhouette. It's a good looking shoe. From what I hear, it's very comfortable and it's very, very good to work out in as well. So I'm gonna put that through its paces. But on top of that, I like the silhouette. I just like the way that it's shaped. It's nice. So I did a little bit of research about the Zig Kinetica first. So basically, the Zig Kinetica was a reincarnation of previous technology that Reebok was using called Zig. Now, Zig was then reinvented around 2010 into something called the Zig Pulse, but that kind of fell flat. There were too many other sneakers and too many other technologies that were coming out at that time, some of them even at Reebok, and the Zig had mild popularity, but it kind of fell by the wayside. So the team that was involved with bringing Zig back had the duty of really reinventing the wheel, as it were. The Zig Pulse, I didn't like the way that it looked. I thought it was kind of ugly, so they needed something that was futuristic, that talked more to the future while paying homage to the past. And what they came up with was the Zig Kinetica. Now, kinetic energy, for those of you guys that don't know, I gotta take you back to 6th grade science class real quick. Remember, you have potential energy and you have kinetic energy. Potential energy is stored energy where you're just standing still, not doing anything. Whereas kinetic energy is actually energy that's being expended when you're actually doing something. So this sneaker is encouraging you to get out and move, run, work out, do things that actually expend that kinetic energy, hence the name Kinetica. Now, as far as technology, apparently the technology used in the shoe isn't super new, but the way that they put them all together in this shoe is new and really hasn't been seen before. But before we get into that part of it, we'll take a little deeper look at the shoe and explain that as we go. All right, guys, starting with the upper of the sneaker here. Now, the first thing that you notice is this breathable mesh going along the entire upper of the sneaker. It's very, very light, very, very breathable. I like that. Now, the first thing that's gonna slap you right in the face is this big ALife branding on the lateral side of the sneaker. Now, right behind that big ALife branding, you get the Reebok standard vector logo here. You have this really nice kind of protective translucent plastic on the heel counter here on both the lateral and medial side of the sneaker. Now on the midsole of the sneaker, this is dope. Now this is all underneath this plastic protective semi-translucent material here, but you see it says 2020 New York City, ALife Inc., Reebok, designed by, and then of course Zig Kinetica. So it's really interesting. It's got all the co-branding there and kind of tells you who did the shoe and what the shoe is all along the midsole. Taking a top-down look at the sneaker here, nothing really different. You get the breathable mesh, you get the Zig pattern on the lateral and medial side, and you get two sets of laces here. You get this really dope yellow set here that's nice, has the black in there, and then the standard set that's already in there is this red set. You're also gonna get this really nice mesh, really soft tongue here, co-branded with the ALife and the Reebok logos. Now, one thing I really do like on this sneaker is this splash of yellow on the back panels of the sneaker. I love that touch. It looks really, really nice offset against that red, but it's just the right amount of color, just the right pop, and I really like that. Moving around to the heel of the shoe here, the first thing you'll notice is the black Reebok vector logo on the heel. Now, let's talk a little bit about this heel stripe here, kind of this red thing on the back of the shoe that looks like almost the mask that Bane wore in The Dark Knight. It's really interesting, but the story behind it is a little more intriguing. So basically, this hard material mixed in with the free float foam in the bottom of the sneaker, it's all made to react very nicely together so that it stores energy and then explodes that energy and then bounces right back. It rebounds and snaps right back to where it was before. So it's very, very good as far as performing on your foot. I'm not the big technical guy. You guys know that I'm not. But at the end of the day, I found the technology in this sneaker really, really interesting. So I don't know, guys. If you don't have a pair of Zig Kineticas, I would definitely check them out. On the outsole of the sneaker here, you'll notice this really interesting design here. It looks like a whole bunch of different bands, and that's actually what the design team called this outsole here. They call it energy bands. Just like I mentioned before, it's designed to store energy and it's designed to bounce right back into the same position that it was in. So as you move around and the sneaker expands and moves along with you, it's designed to want to snap right back in place exactly where it was before, ready for another strike on the ground. It's pretty innovative, actually. Now, of course, on this sneaker, those energy bands are blue, and of course underneath that you can also see that float ride foam that's encapsulated inside of that midsole. It's a comfortable shoe. Apparently that float ride foam is some kind of award-winning foam that Reebok has in-house somewhere, but to me, I don't know. Foam is foam at the end of the day. As long as it stands the test of time and it's not that cheap EVA that they put on Yeezy version 3 700s, I'm good. And that brings us to the insole of the shoe. Now, a full yellow insole, but on the heel here, you'll notice you have the ALife and Reebok Vector co-branded logos, but you see the little GH with the parentheses outside of it. That's the Greenhouse insignia. So that lets you know this is a Greenhouse product where they brought these two brands together to give you guys this incredible sneaker. Greenhouse is doing an incredible job of keeping this relationship going between ALife and Reebok. If you know about the sneaker history, you know that ALife and Reebok have a long-standing history with one another. They've done a lot of projects, and this one honestly is one of my favorite to date. It's really nice. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the ALife Zig Kinetica with Reebok by Greenhouse. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the ALife company, just in case you're not super hip on it. And if you're one of the younger viewers, you may not be as hip on ALife. ALife back in the day used to honestly have the same type of popularity as a lot of brands that you see today. Your Off-Whites, your Supremes, people like that. It's based out of New York, and it had 3 original founders, but Rob Cristofaro is the main founder that you may hear the most about when it comes to this brand. Now, the name ALife actually comes from a shortened version of the word artificial life. Now, basically what that means is that they try to give new life, or a life, to inanimate objects and to create hype around those inanimate objects like t-shirts, sneakers, things like that. And they did an incredible job not just introducing this new streetwear line to New York. ALife is based in New York and really has roots very, very deeply in underground New York as well, but they also served as an incredible stage thanks to some interesting music concerts that they used to do out back in the backyard of their old store. People like Drake used to come to ALife and perform in the backyard at ALife and do shows back there. As a matter of fact, I believe that the first New York show that Drake ever did was at ALife or in the backyard of ALife as well. So when Nothing Was the Same came out, he kind of paid homage to that, went back to ALife's backyard, did another show there. It's also a famous moment because he was back there with Travis Scott and they did a show at ALife as well. Many, many other people have had ALife or the stage of ALife be a very integral part of their career. Now, the reason why you may not have heard as much about ALife is because ALife actually went on a hiatus for a while. They did some bad business deals, linked up with some bad partners, and had to take a hiatus. But when they took that hiatus, a lot of other brands started coming up. Supreme got popping. Supreme was already popping, but Supreme got more popping. Then you had other brands like Off-White and a lot of these other streetwear brands that started coming up in the world, and ALife kind of got left in the dust. So now it looks like ALife is breathing new life and looking to the future with some really, really dope projects, including this collaboration that they did with Reebok and with Greenhouse. Now remember guys, Greenhouse is an incubator program. They house certain brands along with bigger brands to create really innovative products, new products, and dope co-branded products to present to you guys in a really different way. Greenhouse just got done doing a couple of Crocs. We'll talk about those Crocs in a later video, and they've done some incredible projects that you guys have also seen on this channel as well. So I've been super grateful that Greenhouse brought me into the family and decided to send me some things to let you guys see them and to cop up if you guys haven't caught this yet. Today, the day that I'm filming this, is October the 9th, and these are available today. So make sure that you get your hands on these if you can. I'll say this one last thing about these sneakers. The thing I think I like the most about this collaboration is that it pays homage to two brands that wanted to look towards the future. They had a really dope past, but they also wanted to pay homage to the past while looking forward to the future. ALife is a brand that's had a really dope past, but they're now looking forward to the future. Reebok, especially bringing back the Zig Kinetica, bringing back the Zig technology and the Zig silhouette, they're also looking towards the future of the Zig Kinetica and probably going to be doing a lot more with it than just getting Conor McGregor's cosign on it. It's a dope shoe, comfortable shoe, good to wear, good to be casual, good to work out in, solid shoe. I would go ahead and cop up. But that's all that I got to say about these. Now it's time for you guys to sound off down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the Zig Kinetica by ALife and REEBOK for Greenhouse. Are these ones that you guys would like to add to your collection, or are these going to be a hard pass for you? Sound off down below. Let me know. Of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so we can welcome you into the Sneaker Fetish family to make sure you don't miss out on any more heat that comes through like these, because I guarantee you, I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on Sneaker Fetish, taking a look at these with me, unboxing them with me for a couple of minutes. I go by the name of Kari. This is the ALife and REEBOK Zig Kinetica curated by Greenhouse. And until next time, I'm out.